Shade 45, in honor of Shark Week. Was it this week or last week?
It's this week. It's still going right now.
This is it. In honor of Shark Week, I'm going to dump some water out on the console. That's what we're going to start doing. And we got Paul the Gelder here. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome. Like, they were like, oh, we're just bringing somebody in for Shark Week. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I didn't know who I was going to talk to last time we had a director.
Okay.
You are not a director. No, you're not a director. You were involved intimately with the sharks.
Yeah, we had a one-on-one occurrence. So it didn't turn out too well for me. I don't know what happened to the shark. I'm hoping he choked on my hamstring and hand, which he removed from my body viciously. But it's been an interesting ride, and now I get to make docos about sharks.
All right, so you're like a big fella. You look like a big dude, like knock a motherfucker out type fella, right? But you got a prosthetic leg and a prosthetic arm, right?
Yeah, I've got the best prosthetics in the world. I'm extremely lucky that the military looks after me. I got the best prosthetic arm. It's called a Michelangelo electronic. It beeps when it changes grip. I've got a beer drinking mode on it, which is always important with your prosthetic arm.
There's a beer drinking mode?
Yeah, so this is the normal grip here. It's just sort of neutral. Yeah. And I give it a little flick, it beeps, and now it can hold my beer can.
Yo, it's making a C. Or you could you could be like a gang sign.
Not too many gangs in Australia. I don't really need that.
Start one, Paul.
It's good for nipple gripples.
Oh, that's awesome. That's all right. So, how do you control it with your mind?
I control it with the muscles. So I've got most of my arm down to my wrist, but the socket covers up to my elbow. All right. And inside that socket, it's all carbon fiber. It's really hard. On the inside are two sensors, and they pick up the electrical impulses of my muscle flexing. So if I want to close it, I flex the inside of my arm, and if I want to open it, I flex the outside of my arm. And if I want to change the grip, I just give it a little flick. It beeps, and then it changes to another grip.
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah. So it's pretty intuitive, huh?
Yeah, it's good. It's user friendly.
How long did it take you to learn how to do that?
Nah, it's easy. It's just like flexing your forearm muscle. Where the difficulty comes in is learning to utilize it, because you can't feel it. If you haven't had it for a while, you get used to living life without it. So you've got to try and include it into your life so that it becomes more useful.
And your leg as well. So that shit looks like the athletes type shit, huh?
Yeah, this is also the best you can get. It's called an X3, made in Germany. It costs about $200,000.
Them fucking Germans know how to make shit.
German efficiency. They're just incredible.
Wait, that's $200,000?
Yeah.
Don't tell nobody that you might. Anybody ever try to rob you for your fucking leg?
It's 50 cents.
That's more like it.
Yeah, no, it's not worth stealing.
I bet you could still whoop a motherfucker's ass, man. Well, I wouldn't start a fight with you.
I wouldn't want to get hit in the head with carbon fiber.
Nah, dude, that shit is super hard, ain't it?
Yeah. So the leg's pretty awesome. Allows me to walk. It's waterproof. I can run on it.
It would be like pistol whipping somebody, really, with your hand.
Spud punch them on top of the head.
Yeah, dude. Yo, it's a wrap. Let's go to the bar and talk shit to people.
The problem therein is it costs so expensive that you don't want to do it unless it's completely necessary.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to send this off to Germany to get fixed. It takes too long.
I know that's right. Well, let's now that you caught me up on all the technology, take me through what happened with you. What were you doing out in the water?
Well, I'm what's called a Navy clearance diver.
What's that mean?
It's basically like your SEALs.
Okay.
So we do maritime tactical operations, sneaky peeky diving in the middle of the night, reconnaissance and demolitions. We do explosive ordnance disposal, mine countermeasures. We use tools and welding and all that sort of stuff underwater. And 5 years back, I was in Sydney Harbour at one of the Navy bases just near the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House doing a counter-terrorism exercise. And I was acting as an attack swimmer, pretending to put bombs on the ships.
You was pretending to be like a terrorist.
Yeah, exactly. And I was on the surface on my back.
Can Arabs swim? Can the Arabs swim? Are they good? Because of the desert.
I don't know.
All right.
Maybe the coastal guys.
All right, bet. Okay.
So the Navy was trialling some unmanned sonar and video equipment, which is why it's all videoed. It's on YouTube. You can see it. Me getting eaten alive.
Wait, your shit is on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And
dude.
it's on the show tonight too. Oh, sorry, on Saturday night as well. So you'll be able to watch it when you watch Great White Matrix. You see me getting eaten alive.
All right, so you're swimming.
Yeah, I'm swimming on my back on the surface, a pair of fins on, black wetsuit, looking like a big fat seal. Well, a thin athletic seal.
Yeah.
And early in the morning, it's overcast, murky water, and I look over my left shoulder to make sure that I'm going in the right direction, and this big bull shark just decides that I'm going to be a tasty bite and comes up out of nowhere. No one saw it, grabbed onto my leg, takes me underwater, starts tearing me apart, and I can't do anything.
What kind of pain are you in right now?
Like, out of a 1 to 10, 2,000.
No
so
shit.
I thought I was dead. I thought there's no way I'm getting out of this. I'm going to die right now. I'm yelling. I'm running out of oxygen.
So he's holding you with holding your leg with his mouth?
He's got my hamstring, so the back of my leg, and because my hand was by my side, it's got my hand in its mouth at the same time.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm thinking I'm trying to jab it in the eyeball, but I can't because
You're
it's got
pinned.
my arm.
Your arm's pinned.
Exactly. So I can't do anything. I'm stuck. I'm basically waiting to be killed. And the attack lasts about 8 to 10 seconds. It's just shaking me around, ripping me apart, and then it rips out my hamstring, it rips off my hand. I see it flick its tail like it's swimming away, and I start swimming for my safety boat. Right. And my arm comes out of the water, but my hand's gone. So I'm thinking, I've got to keep that wound above my heart to stem the bleeding. And I'm swimming with one hand, with my left hand. I'm swimming with my left leg because my right leg doesn't work either. And I don't know why. I haven't seen the wound. I don't know how bad it is. I just know I've got to get out of the water. So I'm swimming through a pool of my own blood. And the safety boat's gunning for me at the same time. They got to me, pulled me into the safety boat, and just started first aid and kept me alive. So a lot of stuff came into play that day to keep me alive. You know, awesome medical training, being able to stay calm under pressure, all that stuff, being fit and athletic. You know, but I'm just really lucky, man.
Why do you think the shark stopped the attack? It had his mouth full and just wanted a hunk, or
hopefully it's choking.
Were you really mad at the shark?
Initially, I was. You know, when I woke up, all I could think of was fucking shark. You know, I was pretty pissed.
Yeah, it took a fucking piece of you, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it took away my whole life.
Right.
You know, how do you be a badass clearance diver jumping out of helicopters and all that stuff with one hand and one leg? So I was crushed. This is like my dream life just ended.
How long were you a clearance diver for before this happened?
I was an Army paratrooper first, so jumping out of planes with a big machine gun. I did that for 5 years, and then I went looking for more excitement, and I was...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Became a Navy clearance diver and did that for 5 years as well.
You're like, jumping out of planes is fucking boring. Let's see what the water has to offer.
Yeah, exactly. I went from the sky to the sea and blowing stuff up, and
yeah,
all the good stuff. You know, get paid more holidays. You know, top of the food chain in the Navy. So I was having the time of my life. Riding a big black Italian sports bike. Lived at Bondi Beach, just living the dream.
You're just crushing it.
Yeah,
probably just slaying shit.
And then a shark comes out of nowhere and just changes your whole world.
All right. So how long did you fall into depression, or
no? I worked it out pretty quickly because I had that dream life. You know, and I was laying in my hospital bed thinking, you know, what am I going to do now? And it was such a complicated decision. You know, how do you live a life like this? But I hate complicated decisions. They're too bloody complicated.
Right.
So I broke it down to two simple choices. Do I want a good life or do I want a shit life? And everyone's going to choose 100% of the time to have a good life. So there's the first step. Choose to have a good life. Then you've got to decide how you're going to live that good life. So basically I just banned negativity from my life. I focused on all the good things that I had. I did what the military had trained me to do, which is pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get on with the job. And I'm not saying it was easy. It was a lot of hard times, and I broke down, and I cried myself to sleep at night, and I woke up sometimes, and I couldn't get out of bed because of pain. But step by step, it got easier, and it got better, and I used the support that people gave me. I didn't wallow in the self-pity. I didn't think, woe is me, poor me, because it doesn't do anything. What's the point of that? So I just, you feel that way, all you have to do is go and do something that makes you happy.
Right.
So finding out your triggers is really important. Finding out what makes you sad, what makes you angry, what makes you depressed, but also what makes you happy, what makes you full of joy. And I found a lot of reward over the last couple of years in giving, doing things for other people, talking at cancer camps for kids. And you can chase happiness and joy through fulfillment of giving things to yourself, but I promise you there's nothing more rewarding than giving to other people.
What do you see other people taking from your story the most?
The good thing about the story is it's not just a shark attack. The shark attack is this tiny little bit of the story because I had hard times as a kid as well. I got kicked out of home at 17. I was a bad kid. I was drinking and smoking weed and stealing and fighting, and I had to change my life. So I talk about how I did that.
You were, what they call that shit, a bogan?
You've been talking to Jason next door. Yeah. No, I wasn't a bogan. I was into hip-hop.
Okay.
So it's a story about learning how to change your life and make it better no matter your circumstances, because I had to change a whole bunch of times through my life, making the hard decisions, putting my body and my mind through a lot of stress to accomplish that personal dream. And that's what everyone wants. Everyone just wants to live that dream life, having the fulfillment and having a purpose. So I teach them about how I did it, the tools that I use, and that people come away from it messaging me all the time. This is how I know that it's doing such a good job and I've chosen the right path, because I get such amazing messages on social media, emails. I get always good reviews, and it's really touching to get especially the messages from the kids at the schools.
Yeah, man. That's cool, dog. Like, it kind of is. I remember walking down the street and I saw like an able-bodied guy, and he was like laying on the concrete, super drunk and fucking kind of my age and out of it. And then I saw a dude with like one leg going to the gym, and I was like, damn, this motherfucker. Like, it's not about what you have outside. It's about that heart, man. Yeah. It's all heart. And
it really is, man. And I that became evident when I got to go to the Marine Corps Wounded Warrior Games out at San Diego, and to witness these incredible human beings, dudes competing in 50-meter freestyle events, blind with no legs, or winning archery medals with no arms, shooting with their mouth.
I mean, I'm not trying to climb, but how the fuck is somebody running blind? Like, he don't run into shit?
Swimming.
Oh, about
50 meters freestyle, blind with
I was like, God damn, I don't know if that's a good idea, Paul. Like, these motherfuckers run into a wall and shit.
They had it. They had guys with very, very limited sight running, and they've just learned, man. That's the strength of the human spirit. That's what we're all capable of.
Right.
It's just that people refuse to put themselves into uncomfortable positions to achieve what they possibly can, and that's what people need to learn how to do. Get a little bit uncomfortable, push your boundaries. You'd be amazed at what you can achieve.
Do you swim?
Yeah.
How long did it take to go back in the water?
3 months. So I took
what was the feeling the first time you went back in?
Just good, man. I was happy. I've been out of the ocean for 3 months. That's a long time for me. So I didn't even have a waterproof leg or hand or anything. I put my 8-foot surfboard under my arm and hopped down through the sand, hopped down through the water, and everyone was staring at me, and I felt really self-conscious because this was a huge event in Sydney, me, a Navy diver getting attacked, so everyone sort of knew what happened. But I put my board down in the water and I whispered to it, please don't let me paddle around in a circle. So it's just things that you don't think of that you have to overcome when you lose your hand and your leg.
Yeah. And then you did it. Did you get up on the board one-legged?
No.
I'm about to say, you a bad motherfucker.
I was just swimming around, paddling and stuff. But I have since then. I've been towed into 10-foot waves now with my waterproof leg. Went back to work after 6 months, requalified in all the diving gear, jumped out of planes, snowboarded in New Zealand. Mate, I'm just living the dream.
Man, well, I'm glad that you were able to come in and talk a bit with us. Out there swimming in the water, just doing your job. A fucking shark comes up, takes your leg, takes a piece of your hand, your arm, and fucking leaves you there. Now you're doing your thing, man.
Yeah, it's a tough day at work, but made the best out of it. It turned out pretty good for me.
Yeah, man. You got a beautiful fiance out there?
Or? Let's not get carried away, girlfriend.
Oh, girlfriend? My bad. Shit, I don't, all right.
Yeah, man. It's
He's
good.
like, calm down.
It is what you make of it, It's true in life. You just think about what you want, what's your dream, and then just chase it down and get it.
That's right. Let's go to the phone lines, 888-742-3345. We got 9 in Texas. Go ahead, 9.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man. Go ahead. You got Paul.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, I got a question for you, man. Like you just talked about overcoming adversity. You talked about, which I'm sure was depression, the times you cried yourself to sleep and just following your dreams. With that being said, what do you think about the success that Robin Williams had and ended it all with suicide? Of course, we don't know exactly what he was going through, but what do you think about him committing suicide?
Man, I think that's a really sad state of affairs, and people have been on his case a little bit about how people like that have everything and they just throw it away with suicide. But we really don't know what he was going through. And me, I've never really suffered depression. Okay, depression is an actual illness, so I've never actually been through that. I was sad and I was heartbroken and I did cry myself to sleep, but I've never had depression, so I really don't know what those people that have it go through. And we're seeing more and more soldiers going through depression and PTSD, and a lot of people killing themselves. So while I think it is sad that we've lost such an amazing person, an amazing comedian, especially to suicide, we can't judge a person until we walk a mile in their shoes.
I'm glad you said that, Doug. Like, people think that like success equals happiness or talent equals happiness. It's like, we don't know what the chemicals is going on in this dude's brain, man.
Exactly.
Some motherfuckers are just wired differently than you are. So, like,
it's far too common for it not to be in existence.
Yeah, dude. I agree, man. I'm glad you said that, Doug. Let's go to Mark in Philly. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on? One, I like your story, but question. The first time you looked at yourself in the mirror, what was the thoughts that went through your head, after everything that happened to you?
Mate, I was heartbroken. I was absolutely shattered. To see myself that way, and you know what's even sometimes now it still happens. I'll look at myself and I've got this. I'm really strong and fit and healthy now, and I've got fairly good muscle tone. But then I've got no hand. But then I've got no hand, and I've got this little leg, the little leg that ends above the knee, and the muscles have atrophied. And sometimes it can be heartbreaking. It's not always easy. Sometimes it doesn't bother me at all. You have your ups and downs in life, and sometimes you're strong and sometimes you're weak. But I don't let that define me. I don't let that ruin my day or ruin my week. A good friend of mine taught me that if you're going to feel shit, feel shit. Don't feel bad about feeling bad. Just don't let it ruin your life, your week, or your day. So I feel that way. I know I identify that, and then I go do something that makes me feel better.
So don't judge your feelings. Allow yourself to feel how you're going to feel, and then keep it moving.
Yeah, don't block that stuff out. You block that stuff out, and it just builds up, and people snap, and people just carry it around with them in their soul, and it's not healthy.
What about the ghost shit? You ever feel like
phantom pains?
Yeah, the phantom pains.
Yeah. It feels like I still have a hand and I still have a foot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I don't have pain a lot of the time. It comes occasionally, but what I have is a very intense pins and needles that never goes away, ever.
Like your arm fell asleep almost?
Yeah, but it's really, really strong in my hand and in my foot. And initially, it was really hard to deal with. I used to struggle to get to sleep, but it's kind of like white noise on the TV. You block it out after a little while, and I only really remember it now when someone brings it up, so thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Now I've got phantom pains.
There you go. Let's talk about your ex-girlfriend next. No, I'm fucking with you.
In depth.
Dave in Richmond. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, thanks for taking the call. Paul, I love this story, man. Hey, quick question. I got a brother who was born with this syndrome called Barter syndrome, where his right hand is clubbed. And he gets these looks from these kids all the time, and he's my younger brother. I want to, kind of see what kind of advice you could lend to me to say to my brother, hey, man, fuck these guys, and just overcome the people that are always staring at you. How do you deal with that stuff day in, day out?
Well, what I did was, you're never really going to be able to control how people feel about you. They're going to think whatever it is that they want to think. But what I did for myself was I thought, okay, if people are going to stare at me, I don't want them to stare at me with pity. I don't want them to think in their head, oh, that poor guy limping around with one leg and one hand. So I practiced and I trained and I learnt to walk without a limp. And I hold myself tall, head up, shoulders back, chest out, proud. So if they look at me, they're not going to pity me. They're going to look at me and go, holy shit, look at that freaking cyborg walking around. So all you can do is really control how you feel about yourself. And just by standing tall with your shoulders pinned back and your chest out, being proud of yourself, that changes everyone's perception straight away. The problem is that you're going to have is kids are cruel. Kids are nasty. They haven't learnt yet how to be well, not all of them. I'm not speaking on behalf of all the kids. Kids are just shit.
Man, kids are like that was that Lord of the Flies, dude. They're not fucking lying about that, man. Kids are mean, dude.
Yeah, look, it's not going to work for everyone, but it worked for me, and it's basically just be proud of who you are. You know, you're different doesn't make you any less of a person.
You like that, Dave?
Thank you, man. I appreciate the time.
Chin up. Yo, I got to tell you, because I didn't, look, man, no one told me anything about who was coming in. I just thought you was like an athlete or some shit like that. I was like, damn, this is a motherfucking one-legged athlete in this bitch. I didn't even, like, put two and two together, man. So, like, it works.
Awesome.
It works, yeah. I was not, like, yeah, you look like, and I was like, this dude with one leg look like he could beat the shit out of everybody in this whole fucking place. Because that's how I judge I'm like, can I whoop that motherfucker? Yeah, I can get him to talk shit about him. And then I was like, nah, I don't want to try this guy.
Mate, that's a lot to do with my my personal therapy for myself. You know, I knew that my sense of physicality was such a sense of pride for myself. You know,
right.
Before being in the army, being in the Navy, I'm not the smartest tool. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the smartest bloke in the room, but I'm proud of my physicality. So I knew when I was in my hospital bed, if I could get that re-energized, it would be motivating and positive, and that would invigorate my happiness. So that's what I focused on. And once I got my body developing, my mind followed.
How long did it take to get back? In a year? 6 months?
Man, I was doing one-arm chin-ups on the bar above my bed 2 days after I had my leg cut off.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, I didn't want to sit around, man. I wanted to get started. I wanted my life back.
Well, you got it back and some. You also have you got a show.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
This year, I'm lucky, man. Discovery gave me a Shark Week show. Myself and my co-host Andy Brandy Casagrande IV went out and did some research with great white sharks, and we went to Australia. Well, I stayed in Australia. Andy came over for a visit, and we looked at great whites' turning point from when they are young juveniles eating fish and rays and eels and things like that to when they get bigger and when they need more calories, they start eating dolphins and seals and become dangerous to us. So we wanted to look at the point where they need that more calorie intake and they become dangerous, so we could identify when in the shark's life cycle do we need to be wary of them? How can we protect them but protect us as well and live in a coexistence? So that was the main goal.
So does it happen in puberty? Is that how it happens?
Yeah, what they do is when they're juveniles, and we discovered this great white shark nursery in central New South Wales. It was like the big females were coming up the coast to this beautiful holiday destination in Australia. Surfers in the water, holiday people just swimming, and hundreds of great white sharks. But no one was getting attacked. It's because the sharks weren't after humans. Their jaws aren't strong enough to take on big mammals, so what they do is they hunt fish, they hunt eels, and they were using these mutton birds that had flown in from Russia and didn't have any energy left, so they just sort of sit around in the water dying. And the sharks were using them as target practice for when they get older and have to start attacking seals. So they'd come up and nudge them with their nose, or they'd come up and bite them and then let them go, and it was just crazy to watch these sharks learning to be big sharks. And after a while, they get to about 3 meters, and they start their jaws start to calcify and get stronger.
They start busting shark nuts.
Yeah, they start eating other sharks and mammals. So around that point, and in different areas as well, they move off after that and go to different areas. So it was really interesting to see the science. And my co-host Andy's been doing this for years. He's one of the best cameramen for sharks in the world. So I just continuously learnt off him.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on everything, man. It's really cool to see somebody just take life and whoop ass.
Thanks, mate.
Paul de Gelder, you can follow him at Paul de Gelder on Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. That's DeGelder. Thanks so much for coming and sharing your story with us.
Cheers, mate.
All right, let's get it.